Welcome folks, I am Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
Hello.
A new Mandalorian trailer has just dropped moments ago without warning, and here it is. So excited, and it's coming very, very soon. Cannot wait for November 12th. Here we go.
Is the world more peaceful since the revolution? It is a shame that your people suffered. But bounty hunting is a complicated profession. They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree? Mandalorian, look outside. They are waiting for you. Yeah? Good.
Did you see Bill Burr in there?
Did I?
Yeah.
Was that where?
That was Bill Burr shooting like crazy, going boom, 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 boom. Oh my god, this is so freaking insane.
I didn't even notice it was Bill Burr.
Yeah, that was him. He was
Wow.
the bald white dude in the trailer. Yeah, he was all of a few seconds. But
Oh, wow.
like it goes by so fast that you wouldn't even notice it. But he's in there for reals. He's like, it's during the montage of all the different stuff going on. Here, it's about to come up right now. Ready?
Yeah.
They are waiting for you.
Oh, snap!
Yeah.
So it is.
Yeah.
Wowzers! Bill Burr doing some proper acting.
Yeah, I feel like it's safe to say that this is probably the biggest show to hit televisions ever. Like, it has to be. Because of how much money they're spending on each episode, I feel like this is... You know, when Game of Thrones, the final season was coming, they were like, this is the biggest, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put so much money into each individual episode. But I feel like just from this commercial alone, you can see that this is far surpassing it. Like, they're spending millions of dollars on every single episode. So you're literally seeing a full-fledged cinema-level production, like what you'd get for a theatrical release, finally being brought to your home television. Much bigger than Netflix has ever attempted to deliver. I mean, Netflix has spent a lot of money, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what like the biggest budget that Netflix has spent, so I'm not in the best place. And I'm not in the best place to make a comparison between Netflix and Disney, but this certainly feels like the biggest show because I can't think of anything on Netflix that hits this level of production value where it's just this grand, with this much of a spectacle, this much like visual effects consistently in like how many shots. It's just crazy.
It looks like it's something that is probably carrying throughout the entire series, as opposed to sometimes when you watch a high concept series, they save the big special effects for like the finale episode,
Right.
or you know, whatever the big episode is, then they'll save it all for that, and then everything else just looks, you know, just a little bit less. But I feel like with Disney behind this and with the Star Wars name that they have to live up to, like anything less than awesome isn't gonna be good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, I've never actually watched the Star Wars animated series that came out years ago, but I remember when the trailers first dropped, it didn't wow me. I've been told it's an amazing show. The Clone Wars shows, like those animated series that came out years ago. Those of you who are like hardcore fans know what I'm talking about. So even if you're a cursory fan, you probably know what I'm talking about. But like these animated series had dropped, and I was like, it just looked kind of funny, like the character design and whatnot, and it turned me off to the point that I just never tried it out. I never gave it a shot. But because of friends of mine, they're like, no, you got to give it a shot. There's actually some really good stuff in there. I'm gonna give it an attempt at some point. But the thing is, like this, just immediately you look at it, you're like, whoa, like your socks are knocked off. And I wish that had happened with the animated series that had come out years ago, because you had stuff like Pixar, like Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., all these things, in theaters, and you would have expected that same level of quality with a Star Wars series.
Right.
So just to respond to your thing, like, this is what's expected for Star Wars. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, but before that was animation, though. This is live action. That's a completely different kettle of fish.
They've had live action stuff before. It wasn't the most successful. They had Christmas specials that were on TV.
Really?
Yeah, and
I didn't grow up with that, so I don't know.
I never have seen them. I think I downloaded it somewhere so that I could watch it at some point, but I know that they're not the like most revered thing. It's one of those things that they kind of like sweep under the rug, like, that never happened. It's okay, There's stuff that has been explored somewhat before. It just hasn't been to this level, and so that's what makes this so unique and exciting. It's like, this is definitely new frontier, definitely new territory, and it's just so. This is the feeling I got from the previous trailer, but. Like, there's little things they give you every now and then. This is what they do with the Star Wars advertisements. Is like, okay, Boba Fett comes out and he pushes the dude's thing out and shoots the guy in the face and just keeps going like nothing. And it's just that kind of effortlessness that's so awesome. That's what makes it so fun, is because he doesn't look like he's even trying, and he's just a badass. He's just knocking people out. You can get away with this a lot more easily with lasers and stuff and people in costumes, because you're not actually seeing blood and guts. It's not as gory because it's all fantasy looking and whatnot. That's what makes it cool. Like, that was one of the notions of way back when with Episode 1 Star Wars. You could the droids could be just blown to bits in all kinds of fun and creative ways, because they're just droids. It's like they're not people. They don't have guts that you're seeing that's spewed all over the place with blood. So you could literally do any kind of damage you wanted to them in any creative way that you felt like, and it was fun, and it was still fun for the whole family, even though you could have been, if it was a person, it would have been gross.
It would have been like, nope, that's an R-rated movie right now.
Well, exactly. That's one of the other compelling elements here, is that I'm just very excited to see what kind of action that they're going to bring to the table. And just those little things that you saw right there with him shooting the dude in the face while not even looking was just, it's not just Western, it's like John Woo-esque as well.
Right.
That kind of gunplay that you'd see in like Hard Boiled or something like that. Or I forget the litany of John Woo movies, like A Better Tomorrow or something. There's all kinds of films he did with Chow Yun-fat.
Right.
And so you have that kind of gunplay going on. I'm really hoping to see that.
I think what's exciting to me is just all these new characters in there. So I'm excited to see kind of how they come into play, the relationships that happen, and basically this new story that we haven't heard before.
Right.
Unless we have, and I just don't know,
No, that's all new.
You know what kind of threw me, though, for a lot of the trailer, was that the person narrating it had this accent. And at first I was like, oh, what is he saying? I wasn't like mentally prepared for that. So at first I was like, oh, I wish I had subtitles so I knew what he was talking about. And I think maybe he's South African or something like that, because I was kind of hearing that come through. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice for that character.
Now that you say that, thinking about it, the only accent that I've been familiar with are the English, like traditional RP English accent, or an American accent, and not other variants of European accents. So that is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's cool though.
It may have been there and I just don't remember it, but like whenever I think of Star Wars, the two accents that immediately come to mind are traditional English and American, and so that's interesting. I mean, that's cool, just,
just like
it further.
Diversifying a little bit as well.
Although, doesn't Jar Jar Binks have like a...
Oh, he does have like that pseudo-Jamaican...
Yeah.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, there's that, diversity.
Yeah. They did do that
so.
with Jar Jar Binks.
As far as my connections go, I have friends that have worked on this. It's all like hush-hush and they can't tell me anything. But I do have stunt friends that have worked on the show. And knowing which of my friends are tied to like the stunts aspect of this and the choreography aspect of this makes me even more excited, because they're the kinds of people who do the stuff that I know everybody appreciates in the film industry, like whether it's Daredevil or whether it's John Wick or whatever the case may be. Like, those are the people I'm connected to, and so those are the friends of mine that are working on Mandalorian, and so I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what y'all do here with the choreography and whatnot. So many reasons to be excited. Y'all, thanks so much for hanging out, and be sure to check out Achara Kirk and her vlogs on her YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, and interviews. I am Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.